presiding at the meeting. This time I'd like to call the meeting to order, and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we'll have roll call. Councilmember Morgan.
Here.
Councilmember Batcher.
Here.
Councilmember Gilman.
Here.
Councilmember Omrine.
Here.
Okay, Councilmember Sharkey is not here yet, so 4 members present and 1 absent. All right, having done roll call, also at the head table here on my left is City Administrator Amy Newsom. I don't know if Ross Arneson, our City Attorney, is going to be on the phone or not, but he is not present this evening.
Ross, are you on Ring Central?
No reply.
No, he's not on there.
Okay. All right. At this time, I would recess the regular meeting of the City Council and move into the public hearing. It's a public hearing this evening on the future of Arlington's participation in the Cable Commission. And I would turn it over to City Administrator Newsom for any comment.
I have not received any phone calls or any letters regarding our participation in the Cable Commission. And I see Councilmember Sharpie has arrived. He's in the hall.
Okay. Okay, maybe you can add to that. I know over the last number of years, there's been sufficient consideration, let's say, given to possibly dropping out of the Cable Commission for a number of reasons. Mr. Sharpie, would you care to comment? We're in the public hearing part of the meeting.
And just to recap for you, Matt, I did not receive any written notification or any phone calls regarding the Cable Commission
As far as
from the public.
public,
For or against, do you have anything? This is typically something that we would call on members of the audience to speak up and voice their support or opposition.
We have one person online. Who is online? Who's on the phone?
This is Ross.
Thanks, Ross.
basically in regard to the Cable Commission, they're supposed to, I guess the system's been down, storm damage or something, got it. They also want to upgrade the channels so they get in the HD, so that requires a huge update, which is, I think it was right around $65,000 to upgrade the system. And so that's what we were going to discuss here on Wednesday, but the meeting got canceled because Wade is sick. Wade handles handles the 2 channels, channel 7 and 8, I believe. So right now, the towns that are part of the commission are Gaylord, Gibbon, Fairfax, and us. So even Winthrop has gone out recently, or I don't know when they got out of it. So it's cable's kind of becoming, in my opinion, a thing of the past. And more people are going streaming, Facebook. There's so many other ways for everybody to get their thing out. I guess if the Cable Commission wants to do the upgrade, that's up to them. But whether we stay with them or not is up to us.
Okay. All right.
I know Tom was a huge supporter of it. I think before he took over, Galen was part of it, and I think back then they were talking about getting out of it.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
So Tom got in and took over, and he said we should stay with it, and I've been kind of in contact with him too, and he was a supporter of it. But in my opinion, like I said, it's just my opinion as far as cable goes, those 2 channels are kind of obsolete nowadays.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience wish to speak on this subject of the hearing?
I'll just say one thing.
Yes.
With that, I just heard that Zion is dropping their partnership with them as far as broadcasting the church service to
Yeah.
starting
So they're
Okay.
going, yeah, cause all the churches right now, most of them are going Facebook or whatever.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I know they were giving them the tapes all the time and they weren't playing them all the time, and so I just heard through the grapevine that they're dropping.
Yeah,
it
that,
this week.
and part of it that they weren't getting taped was cause the equipment, one is outdated, so they can't get on the HD channels, and two, something happened with Storm that I don't know, cause I haven't been to a meeting, and, so that was, and I would assume that a lot of other churches, cause I would assume that part of this money that they wanna put towards upgrades would go to the various churches and organizations so that they could upgrade or whatever, but I'm not entirely sure how that would work, but, I would assume you can get a webcam and Facebook Live pretty easily, or put it on YouTube and people can view it there. I would assume like more elderly people would have a harder time, but maybe the kids would step in and just, if they wanna watch a service or watch a council meeting, they could, or anything really, they could show them how to do it. That's like I said.
Anyone else in the audience care to speak on this hearing topic? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Batchor, second by Councilmember Morgan to close the public hearing at 6:36 PM. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Moving on to item 4, changes in the agenda. Are there any additions or changes in the agenda?
I have a couple changes. First, in front of you, you'll find a new bills, a new list of bills, because we will be paying off that 2009 improvement bond this evening. That was added. And there's one change on 5C. Take off the word workshop, those are just council minutes.
Anything else? Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. We'll move into the consent agenda at this time. And it consists of the following. Item A, approval of the bills. Item B, September 8th, 2020, personnel employee relations minutes. Item C, September 8th, 2020, council minutes. Item D, September 14th, 2020, council workshop minutes. Item E, approve hiring of, and my apologies in advance, Haile, would you pronounce your last name for me, please?
So my whole name is Haile Selassie, but I go by Haile. My last name is Tegeni.
Okay,
Yeah.
you all heard it, so I won't. As an intern with 400 hours at $12 an hour, this position is paid for by South Central Service Cooperative. Item F, accept resignation of paramedic David Olson. Item G, approve Sibley County Agricultural Association gambling permit for replacement of raffle. This is a date that was moved to take place now on December 15th, 2020 at 8 p.m. at the Agricultural Office located at 801 West Chandler Street, Arlington, Minnesota. That is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Morgan, second by Councilmember Gilman to approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. At this time, Haile, would you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself? And welcome to Arlington.
Yeah, thanks for having me. A little bit about myself. I'm a graduate student at Hamlin University, and I have many years of experience working in nonprofit and public sector. And my plan is to use this opportunity to learn about the city, learn about working in the public sector more, because I have already worked in that's my passion about the public sector. But a little bit about me, I came from Ethiopia. It's in Africa, like an East African country. I grew up with large families, and the things that kind of interest me in the government sector is because I lived in a country where there's no really like democracy, and I've seen like government failures, whatnot. So like I got this opportunity to come here and learn about government and be able to like serve the communities around me. So so this is kind of my passion, and I'm very passionate about this opportunity. Working with Amy is gonna be great. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and again, welcome.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
He will be starting after the election.
Yes, yes. So I'm helping out right now. So like, so once the election is over, I'm definitely gonna comment about as much as I can.
Okay, good. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Looks
Do I
Forward
need
to you starting.
All right, move on to the next item, item 6, addressing the council. Is there anyone in attendance this evening wishes to address the council?
I don't even know. I'm running late, so I'm so lost at the moment. But discussing Fright Night, is that
Okay.
on the schedule for tonight?
No,
Amy?
it is not
It is not
on
on the schedule for tonight.
tonight's agenda. Matt did not submit a permit to
Okay.
close the street for Fright
Pam
Night.
thought it was going to be discussed tonight, and she wasn't sure.
No.
And I have not been back in contact. So
No.
She could talk right now, it's just.
Addresses the council.
It's an open forum.
If you want to speak on it.
I'm part of
It's
this.
perfect timing.
Peter does all this, not me. He had to leave out of town. I'm like, great, thanks. I guess just to see what options we have. If it, I would still like to be part of it and trying to find a way to create something. Kids kind of got stuck this year, not being able to do a lot. Peter and I are trying to create a way, thinking, I'm assuming so much of it's going to be shut down with the ability, the distancing and stuff. Of wondering, I'm working with trying to find the photography bit of it, working with my company if they would still do it, and still offering it, but like trying to do something if we can borrow somebody else's parking lot, of almost doing a drive-by Halloween event. The pictures are such a hit for everybody, and you literally can pull in through, maybe all of the city puts bags together, all the businesses that want to participate put candy in a bag. For the kids, they can pick up, get out, take their picture, get back in, get in a car and leave. Then the next person can come in, so there's the social distancing, there's the no contact. Something to be able to give the kids still some sort of Halloween, something in some way, the businesses to be able to help out with that. Anything, I take anybody's advice, willing to help plan or be part of it. I know Pam's a big one with the Fright Night. I wanna say somebody just said something about trying to do something here. Was posted on the city's website. I haven't got to look into it yet, but
No.
I guess that would be my
Hmm.
biggest.
No.
No?
I think the city probably would not be in a position to field any requests until the chamber, which is the primary sponsor, or the only sponsor of the event, makes a decision on whether they're gonna go forward with it or not. They have not made a decision yet.
I think what she's referring to is on Facebook, there was an ad posted.
Advertisement that
Right.
someone could rent the community
Right.
center.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. And yeah, I didn't get to read it. It's been, I
We're
just.
marketing the
saw it.
community center for someone to rent it.
Got it, okay,
Mhm.
for an
Mhm.
event of some sort, got
Mhm.
it,
Sure.
okay.
So I guess at this point, we're waiting for the chamber to,
Chamber,
The chamber needs to vote on it. They
Okay.
need to submit a permit with a plan, including a safety plan,
okay,
to the council before the council should vote on it.
okay. So working with the chamber,
The
Yep.
chamber needs
Yep.
to submit an application and a plan.
okay,
Mhm.
perfect. I will reach out to them then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by. Thank
Sorry
you.
for just sneaking in.
Anyone else wish to speak to the council? All right, no announcements, no communication?
No announcements.
We're gonna move into item 9 then, reports. Annual report from Arlington Fire Relief Association, Secretary Treasurer Spencer Hagenmiller, and President Tim Hagenmiller. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Spencer's got all the numbers for us and.
Well, thanks again for meeting with us, or letting us meet with you guys.
Yeah. Pull the mic as close as you can, please. Might help.
Basically, this is a report that's supposed to be about 2019. So it's a little ways back. It's like, I'm trying to pull things apart or whatever and look back at it. But basically, for the relief side of things, we were sitting at the end of 2019, we were sitting at actually 31, I guess it would have been 31 members back then, as far as I know. Actually, no, the three youngest ones wouldn't have been on at that point, so it would have been
28.
28, I believe. But yeah, so back then, I mean, everything was sitting good. Everything as far as the relief and the pensions and all that was sitting good. I believe Amy got the reports saying we were sitting good. I'll be honest, we were actually looking to be really good for this year until the COVID situation hit. But side note off of that, it has recovered and it's back to where it should be, so no worries there. This year we're sitting at, actually, I believe 29 right now. We had, I should back up. So last year in 2019, we did have one of the deferred members pull out his pension. Other than that, I haven't seen any decrease in any of the pension dollars or any of that stuff. So this year we had, I believe, 2 firemen retire. So and this year will be, I think, sitting right now, we're sitting at about 29 members right now. So.
And the incentives that you guys that we worked with, the incentives that we worked with, the council worked with us and stuff has really helped out well. Really able, which is really nice to maintain our numbers, and got some good guys in there, and just a matter of getting them all trained in. But yeah, so far it's been with the incentives is really keeping the older guys around, and it's good to see. Gives us more time to train those younger guys, and that's it's been going very well.
I don't know that anything has changed as far as the benefit level amounts for this yet next year.
For next year, no.
Yeah, and I don't know that anything is going to or not at this time until, that's probably something that Chief will come and talk to you guys about. That's kind of how it's been in the past, to the Chief, if there's any interest there or whatever, that's talked about through them. I'm simply here to just tell you that, the money's covered, the pensions are covered, everything's doing good that way, so. Other than that, if you guys got any other questions for us, that's all I really got.
Okay, any questions for the two gentlemen? All right,
Thank you, Mayor.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Yes.
Item B, Arlington Police Department report. Chief Kenichi.
Well, hi there, thank you all for having me. It seems like forever since I gave you guys any kind of a report, but yeah, let me see what I can tell you. So far, August last month was our slowest month of the year. We only had 201 calls for service. Traffic stops are still the #1 thing that our department likes to do, but otherwise we didn't have any major criminal events. Some suspicious activity and some of that stuff, but no criminal events to say or anything like that. So compared to last year, it was 429. I think we're already seeing, I've kind of dialed back on some of the fluff ICRs, so I think we're seeing some real numbers of stuff that we're actually doing. So compared to last year, it's 429. Our daily hours are between 6 and 14. So year to date, we are at 2,256 calls for service. So that's where we're at there. We got new patches. Have you guys seen the new patches?
Very nice.
Mhm.
There you go, new patches.
Yep.
So very excited about that. We also found a portable speed sign, radar speed sign. Maybe some of you guys have seen it around town.
Mm-hmm.
It's been working really good. It's got the capabilities of collecting data, and we can do graphs and stuff with it and kind of see, speeds, time of day, hour, how many cars are going by, and how many of those cars are exceeding the speed limit. So we're able to get some data out of it. And I think it's just working really well for people that just, kind of, they see their speed, it just kind of makes them think. So I think that's working pretty well. So
And is that one you just sort of strap on a post anywhere I mean, it's self-contained?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, the thing's probably 18 inches by 18 inches,
Okay.
and it's got a little sign that you can put on top that says your speed, so
Right.
when it flashes the people's speed when they come in.
And solar? Is it,
Left
or-
out the solar. It runs on batteries.
Batteries?
I think I could probably get 4 or 5 days out of the
Oh,
batteries. So,
Mhm.
so it's real portable. It's really easy to use. I got it in my squad car all the time, and every once in a while I'll just jump out somewhere and put it up. You never know where you're gonna find it. Might be in the parking lot of City Hall here some nights, so you can watch it. So yeah. Otherwise, I think that's all I got. Unless you guys got any questions.
I continue to get comments occasionally about people making illegal U-turns on Main Street, especially in front of the bakery
Yes.
and in front of the bank or post office, that area.
Yeah.
Some near accidents that they told me about, that people have said, you know, they almost got clipped because somebody unknowing, or they were backing out and the person that they were meeting on Main Street whipped in right alongside of them. And so, I don't know what we can do about that, but obviously the signage at each block and the fact it's a double yellow line means nothing.
Yeah, and the fact that stop signs around town actually mean yield to most people, but
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
But I mean, each block on Main Street has got a no U-turn sign on it,
Yeah.
so.
Those are hard to see though.
Are they?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not looking on the side of the road
Yeah.
over the sidewalk to look for
Okay.
a sign to the
Mhm.
road. I mean, maybe they'd be better placed as you're entering, Main Street or that main part of town or whatever, where they're closer to the road. Like on right across the railroad tracks on the east side of Main Street, to alert people, no U-turns for the next three blocks, whatever, it might be, 4 blocks. That's what I
Yeah.
find.
But that aside,
Personally.
there's still a double yellow line for the whole stretch, so.
Well, yeah, but you look for the sign, I mean, that's me, I don't know.
That might
Other people are maybe different, but I mean, that's what I.
I think even if they could see the sign, they still ignore it and just pull right in.
I think they would
It's
too.
just something that's been, yeah.
I think that might be something that maybe I can launch a little bit of a social media campaign about U-turns on Main Street. Maybe just come up with like some handout warning flyers or something, spend some time in the morning there and just quickly hand them off to people that I see do the violations, stuff like that, so.
Yeah, I mean, you're trying to change behavior that, you know, they've been doing this for 40 years, and why would they change now? So, I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta get them out of that routine to where they're gonna come to town, hit a different block so that they can swing into the bakery and then back out.
Yeah. Once, in the wintertime, I suppose we got big mounds of snow down the center, it's not as big a deal then by then.
Not so much, yeah.
One classic I heard was somebody heading east, made a U-turn, parked in front of the bakery, and then when they were done at the bakery, they walked out of their car and they backed up to the east and headed back west again. So they did it twice, yeah.
See, that's just poor planning in your day.
Yeah. Well, I think it's sort of laziness too, they don't wanna walk across the street to get to the bakery, but.
Let me, I'll launch a little bit of see if I can do a little bit of an education campaign out there for the rest of the
Yeah.
fall.
Thank you for listening, thank you.
Take care of that, so.
Right. Council have anything for the chief? All right, thank you very much.
And then, are we doing the prosecution thing, Amy, is that next?
That is
Yeah.
next.
Okay. During one of our budget sessions, I had kind of pointed out the fact that we were in a contract with the county attorney where we were paying them $45,000 a year for them to prosecute our petty misdemeanors and misdemeanors, because Ross Arneson had decided to back out of that. From what I understand, it's a flat $45,000 rate that we pay, and it's based on, I think, some projections that Ross had made during the last couple of years that he was prosecuting our misdemeanors. And based on their projections, they came up with a number of 341 billable hours, which got us to that number of $45,000. I was a little skeptical of that because in my previous position, we always paid our legal fees, we were billed hourly. And our legal fees could they could be different from one month to the other. But you kinda had a better handle on that. So, I did a little shopping around to see if we could save some money, at that point, and I found two other attorneys that gave me rates, that could help us out with our misdemeanor and petty misdemeanor prosecutions. The first one that I spoke with was Aaron Walton. He currently is the Gaylord city attorney, who does their prosecutions there. And he had quoted me a rate of $150 an hour, for the attorney fees. Their legal assistant would be $35 an hour. And those are two different rates. He said he often uses legal assistants to put complaints together and stuff like that. So for a legal assistant puts a complaint together versus an attorney, we're paying $35 an hour. And then, they do a minimum charge of 1/10 of an hour. And so that was his rate. And then I also got a hold of Ken Jansen. He is the city attorney for New Auburn and Glencoe. And he has proposed, if I can find it here.
It's on the screen too.
Oh yeah, look at that. There it is. So Ken proposed is that he would charge the city an hourly rate of $135 an hour with a yearly cap of $40,000. So cases they go to get contested, they end up over as city attorney, and he has to work on them. He bills us for the hours that he works on the cases. And then let's say at any point during the year we hit $40,000, we're done paying for that year. And he continues to prosecute. And, this way, as it stands right now, 341 billable hours that we're paying for the county attorney, 6 months into the contract, we're only at 117. So even if we do another 100 billable hours, that's still only 217 billable hours, but we're gonna pay the county attorney for 341.
You know, do you know how many cases that we've seen, last year, this year, or the last couple of years, per year?
What did, they pulled some cases from what Ross had said, and then they had gone to the court administration's office and pulled the petty misdemeanor and misdemeanor prosecution cases that we had there.
You're talking like 10 or 15?
Oh, what did they have? They said, I think, the city of Arlington in 2019, 2020 year to date, 2019 they had 244 misdemeanors, 167 petty misdemeanors, and then year to date in so far year to date in 2020 we're at 80 misdemeanors.
But
And-
there would only be a small percentage that's gonna contest it in court. So if I
Right.
get a ticket, I go in, I felt I was just, it was somebody else, it wasn't me, I try to fight it. So that's what we're gonna be,
That's when we pay.
getting an attorney.
Yeah. If we write a citation for a misdemeanor or petty misdemeanor, somebody goes in and pays it, it's done. We don't get any.
Yeah, I'm wondering how many cases we've had, so we can try to figure out how many hours,
Well,
per case.
yeah, we asked for a 6-month review from the county attorney that went from January to July, and they had everything detailed out here. The best I could do is they just had it totaled by hours, and the best I could find out is, I guess you could say of our 80 and 54 cases, they've only billed us 117 billable hours towards those cases.
I mean, it could be something that, we could look at them and say, okay, is this worth fighting?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So if we're gonna spend, $1,000 fighting somebody for an exhibition driving ticket or something, is it worth $1,000 to fight that?
Right, exactly. We had the same issue at my previous position where, if you had a misdemeanor offense and they were contesting it and, it's kind of one of those things that, how strong is your case and how much do you want to get this on that guy's criminal record? Yeah, you had that conversation with your attorney and you said, yeah, we don't want to spend an exuberant amount of money, prosecuting this in court. So, yeah, you end up doing a plea deal, usually is how that worked. And we, I imagine we do the same thing with the county attorney now as we would with any attorney. They would discuss that with us and they'd say, you know, but our deal with the county attorney doesn't give us any opportunity to save any money. We're paying that $45,000 a year, whether he prosecutes 10 cases or 10,000. And I just think it might be in our interest that we look at a different option.
I think it's the best of both worlds, and I would personally give notice to the 6 months notice that's required and get out of the deal that we have and try to lock us in.
Is there an opportunity that after we present the numbers that you've found to the Sibley County attorney that some negotiations could take place?
Ross, are you listening to this?
Ross?
Ross and I talked a little bit about this because Ross was kind of on the front end of.
Can you hear me?
There he is.
Yep.
Yes, we can hear you. I don't think he can.
You can hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we can
can hear you.
Hello?
Ross?
He can't hear us, okay.
He can't hear us.
Yes.
Can you hear me now, Ross?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I just was able to hear part of the conversation, but I'd spoken to the chief earlier about this. To give a little perspective, the council at the time allowed me to do a negotiation with the county to transfer over the prosecutions. The main reason for that was that the prosecutions were skyrocketing. We had a very active 4-member police department, and I think there may have also been a surge in crime. So each year it seemed like the prosecutions were doubling, and where I used to have between 4 and 6 active cases at any given time, in the end of 2019, I think I turned over 45 active files to the county. So it was about 100% increase from historical levels, and it looked like it was going to just keep going up. Unfortunately, we entered into the contract with the county at the peak of that experience, and the county's contract price was designed to reflect what we projected was going to be the number of hours that would be devoted to prosecutions in 2020. And that was at the $125 per hour rate that I had been charging. The county took it over at the same rate. However, we did have a discussion with the county at that time that the contract would be subject to review based on the future experience. And so the county agreed to take count of the number of prosecution hours they devoted to Arlington cases, and they have done so. One thing to keep in mind, the numbers were way down this year, partly because we had 2 of our 4 officers not on duty for an extended period of time. The coronavirus may have also kept some people at home who might otherwise have been out committing crimes. So I think 2020 is an atypical year as far as the number of prosecution cases. Having said that, I think based on our understanding with the county should be willing to relook the contract. And in fact, because we've seen such volatility in the number of cases, perhaps we ask the county to consider contracting purely on an hourly basis. And I think that would probably be fairest to both sides. One thing that may be a difficulty for the county is that the county attorney had been trying for some time to convince the Board of Commissioners to allow him to hire another assistant county attorney. And he felt that he could have justified that based on the workload they already had, but the commissioners were reluctant to add the extra position. And I think he was partly able to accomplish getting another assistant because he could show the county that he was taking on this additional work and income from Arlington and to a lesser extent from Green Isle. So I presume he's going to be a little concerned that if his contract with Arlington is substantially changed, that county commissioners might decide to take away the extra attorney that he currently has in staff. But I just want to give the council that as some background. It's, I guess it's not technically Arlington's problem, but just so you understand what's happening on the county attorney's side. I think, though, he may be able to justify keeping the extra attorney because I think having that extra attorney on staff has allowed them to focus more strongly on welfare fraud cases, child protection cases, and other types of cases that have benefited the county. And perhaps he can show the, county commissioners to their satisfaction that the extra attorney continues to be justified. I guess if the council, I think a first step would be to notify the county under the 6-month notice clause that the city, wants to void the contract, but give the county the clear understanding that one thing that could be in play is to renegotiate the contract. And I discussed with the chief, there are some advantages to having the Sibley County attorney prosecute our cases. I think they would be more readily available and more responsive to our police than an outside law firm. Not that the other firms, wouldn't be doing a good job. It's just that there are certain efficiencies in having the county attorney handle things because they're officed right at our local courthouse. So that's something else to keep in mind. But anyway, any questions of me?
I like Ross's recommendation that we notify them because it is a 6-month out
Right.
on this contract and see if they,
If they could meet the deal,
Yeah.
that's the goal for it. Maybe they would meet it at the 35 that we're paying. That would be the maximum, and then we just pay an hourly.
Doing a little research, I guess on these attorneys, I haven't had to work with any, but I talked to Tony Padilla, who's currently a captain at the Glencoe PD in town. Based on my discussions with him, I don't think that Aaron Walton would be my first choice. Ken Jansen is the city attorney for Glencoe. Our office is in Glencoe. He's also the city attorney for Walburn. And he's also giving, he's going to give Beeler a contract to consider to do contracting services with them. So if we pick him up, Beeler picks him up, and he's got 3 cities in Sibley County that he's going to be here anyway. I was just looking at I kind of started looking into the
I agree with you, I mean, I think, just doing this bulk payment, guessing what we're gonna, it's gonna be exactly the same, I mean, no 2 years are exactly the same. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, if we're gonna have Arlington tax money helping fund a position, I'd like that position to be with the police department, not having the same guy.
Right. Have, when, in your talks with them, have they expressed the interest in taking on the extra?
Yes, they have. Yep, I think Kenneth would happily take us on.
I just personally feel out of a courtesy to the county, that we would extend an offer to, negotiate with them and see if they can, if they would agree on a better package than what we have now, better for Arlington.
Yeah, my biggest thing is if we can just get, if we just get billed hourly. Just
Right,
let us
right.
pay you
Yep.
what you're doing for us hourly.
Yep.
Cause that gives us a chance to,
Not having that peak bill, essentially. I mean, if we keep peak and bill us hourly, then it's the best of both worlds. Because in case we do have a surge, then we're covered. If we don't, we benefit if we didn't use it. If they were open to doing that, that sounds great, they're already doing it now. But yeah, if they're not.
I did talk, we spoke with Dave a little bit about this maybe a couple weeks ago. He told him that I was looking at finding alternatives for the council to consider just based on the fact that the budget and Dave, the issues with that experts. I couldn't get a straight answer from him if he would be willing, if he kind of made it sound like that, like him and the entire, I guess, county commissioners and everybody else that was initially on this board that initially negotiated this thing, it kind of led me to believe that all those people would have to come back to the table. So,
Well, I mean, and then so be it, then let them all come back to the table. I mean, we gotta look at what's the best for us, so we're not even reaching even close to what they're charging us for this year, so it's not fair.
But how long do you let it drag on? If
Well,
you
you
don't give
don't.
notice now, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
You give notice, then you can say, hey, look,
let's
this is what,
renegotiate.
let's renegotiate.
Yeah, absolutely.
If not, 6 months,
It's
we're
over.
going separate ways.
Yeah.
Chair would entertain a motion to authorize the city administrator to give notice to the county that we would like to end our contract with them.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Can I just add something?
Sure.
That I also put something in that letter that we'd like to negotiate with
Yes.
them.
Is anyone opposed to,
Perfect.
as a negotiate?
Yes.
No, that's fine. Okay, soften it a little bit. Any questions? Motion by Councilmember Morgan, second by Councilmember Batchor to authorize city administration to communicate with the county, with Sibley County, that we are to end our agreement with them and enter into negotiations for a new agreement. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay, thanks, Chief. Item C, people service reports.
Attached, just see the August people service report. They had a very busy month. I know that they have someone else writing their reports to us now, so they're a little more detailed, which I like to see. I like to see what they all did. You see, when I sat down with someone, they notated that. I think it's good that we sat down and worked on the budget. So, very detailed, what they've been doing. I like to see what they've been doing.
I wonder if they're still doing monthly checks at the fairgrounds.
Yes, they were
They
supposed
are,
to be
okay.
still doing monthly checks to make sure
I
those
didn't know if
caps
it was
are on.
anywhere, I read most of this, but I didn't see that.
If you have any questions on it, let me know, and I will ask people service.
It's always good to look at the 20 versus 19, knowing that we had the street project that took place in 19, and we're You know, we're low unit as far as the water's pumped, but as far as the wastewater pump,